on to you. If you could tell us your name and whereabouts in Southwark. If you
Eileen Adams. It's Eileen, not Eileen. Eileen Adams.
Eileen.
Yes.
Okay.
And I left Guyana and arrived at Liverpool and came up to Southwark. I've always lived in Southwark.
When was that? When did you come over?
Well, I left Guyana in 57. I spent 5 days in Trinidad, and then I came here and arrived 58.
Right, okay.
I came on the boat HMS Hilary, the best British boat they had in the high seas. So, and I was married from home, so when I came with the 3 children. And my husband went to Liverpool and pick us up, and we came, I think, to St. Pancras. And then I was living in Harders Road, the Force Address.
Ah, yeah.
You know where Harders Road is?
Is it Peckham? Oh.
Yes, that is off Woods Road, off before you get to Queen's Road.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice there, but the thing that shocked me, I left a 3-bedroom house, cottage rather, in Guyana. And then when my husband opened the door, I saw this nice big house. He said, "No, it's not here, go upstairs." Went upstairs, the door was closed. He said, "No, further up." So when I got up there and he opened the door, he said, "Go in." I was just standing there and I was so angry. I said, "This is what you bring me all the way from Guyana to live in one room in London?" I was expecting, the way I was living home, the same accommodation. And he said, "Never mind. When things brighten up, we'll soon get somewhere different." And it was an African man house. He was Nigerian. And we lived there. Oh, I wouldn't describe the room. It was all second-hand, the mattress on the bed. It was terrible. And we lived there for a few months. And then I noticed they was doing the house next door. And I asked the people, what you call them? That refurbish houses, what you call them again?
The landlord?
No, they have a name. People that refurbish.
Developers?
Yes, developers. And he said, "This house that we're doing is a man from Guyana that bought it. And he's having the whole house refurbished." So I said, what is his name? He said his name is Etienne. So he said, "You'll see him because he's always well dressed. And when he come to see how the workers are getting." And I went out the day I saw him and I said, "Excuse me." I asked him if I can get a room to move over from where I was living. And he said yes. But my husband, because he was Guyanese, my husband was very jealous. And because the landlord was Guyanese, he didn't like that at all. Anyway, we did move over and things was all right. And we lived there for 11 months. And then another Guyanese friend of my husband said where he's living, in Blake's Road.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but they're the only black people living there because they're all white people. And they don't rent out to black people. But he had this flat at the top, and the landlord said that if he can bring a good friend to take the other flat. So we moved over. Oh, it was nice. My landlord, he was Irish. Very nice man. I remember his name up to this day, Mr. Ladbrook. That was his name. And he spoke to me and I moved in. But he said to me that his wife don't like your people. And if she says anything to you, don't take any notice of her. So a week after we moved in, the door, or the knock on the door, opened the door, saw this white lady standing outside, and I said to come in. So she said her husband told her that we had moved in. She asked where I'm from. Oh, she was so nice. So she said she hoped we enjoy, because we were the only two black people living in Blake's Road at the time.
Right. Yeah.
Because the white people didn't like to rent the West Indian place. So we lived there for 2 years, 3 years. We were all right. But when I told my landlord, which is the lady's husband, I told him how nice she was. He looked at me, he said, no. He said, no, I don't believe she don't like your people. I said, well, she didn't show me no bad face. I said, she was so nice. So he said, aren't you lucky? But
the 2 years you spent there, how was that?
Pardon?
The 2 years you spent in Blake's Road.
It's more than 2 years, I think I spent. But because now the people in Blake's Road, my husband, he was so thin, he used to walk around and come through another side of Blake's Road and come into Blake's Road.
Right.
Because they were all white people living there. But I used to come into Blake's Road, and when I see them, good afternoon, and I always say good afternoon.
So this would have been in the 60s?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, 50s.
In the 50s.
That was in the 50s. I arrived here on the 5th of January 1958 because I had to go to Guyana. I left Guyana, had to go to Trinidad and pick up the boat from there, and we stopped at Barbados, and then we took off, and we came through not the normal thing where the other boats used to come, the other boats that used to bring people to the country. We went through Europe because we crossed the Bay of Biscay. Okay. When we left Madeira, we crossed the Bay of Biscay. What a crossing that was. The boat was like this. Never thought we will get to Liverpool.
Gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
So we were there and we were all right.
Yeah. Can you remember any of the first job, the first job you did this?
My first job, it was at plating form.
Plating form?
Plating.
Right.
Plating. They used to make copper, the kettles. It was made out of copper. And then they used to chrome it, put it in a solution. And the kettle to boil water. Yeah. And I was working at the factory. So when they plate the kettle, then we had to shine it and wrap it up and put it in a box. And they used to take it where they were. I don't know where they were.
What was the firm called?
Oh dear, I forgot. It was a plating form though. It was a plating form.
Yeah. Where
with different
where it was?
Yes, it was in I think it was in Gordon Road.
Okay.
Not far away from where I was living.
Yeah.
So I used to walk to work.
Yeah.
And after that, I was in hospital. I went into hospital. No, sorry. I got another job in the over the river. What was the name of the factory? It was an American firm.
What did they specialize in?
Yes, we used to make parts for aircraft. We used to make parts for aircraft. You had to solder.
Okay.
I was a solderer, and it was piecework. And when the more you work, the more you solder, the more plates you solder, the more money you get. But the few black people that was there, like myself, from different parts of like Lewisham and places like that, we used to earn our money. So the white people, they didn't like that, because they used to go out and smoke. We never used to smoke, and they go out and stand up. We used to work because you're earning money. Anyway, we were there, and then we used to cross under the tunnel. When you get to where that tunnel is,
Blackwall?
not Blackwall, the other one.
Rotherhithe tunnel.
No, Blackwall tunnel.
Blackwall, I have
It's 3 tunnels they've got. Blackwall, Rotherhithe, and the other one, where they cross the ferry.
Woolwich.
Woolwich. So when we get there and the boat is not over, we used to walk under the tunnel. And I never used to wear flat shoes. My shoes always used to have a heel.
Like a cork.
So I was walking fast and I touched my heel. And what I ended up with, you wouldn't believe it. And it took them 6 weeks.
What
I was in
happened?
6.
Broke your ankle? No.
TB. Orthopedic TB, they call it.
Oh.
In the right ankle. Yes. I spent 7 months in Royal Sea Bathing in
gosh.
Kent, confined to bed.
Gosh, that must have been a shock.
Yes.
And with the 2 children, and your children as well?
Well, the children, in those days, my husband went to the town hall and he told them. So they put the two youngest one into the nursery in St. Mary's Road. That is
In Peckham.
off Queen's Road.
Yeah.
And the big girl, she used to go to school.
Yeah.
Then they got someone to collect her and bring her, because my husband had to work.
Yeah.
He was working at Finlayter's Mackey and Toad. That factory used to be in the park. What's the name of
Peckham
that?
Road Park?
No, the one in Walwood Road.
Burgess.
Yes. It used to have a lot of factories in there.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it had a lot of factories. So my husband used to work with the people, Finlayter's Mackey and Toad, because in Guyana he used to be an engineer. He used to be a fitter welder. And when he came, that is what he was doing there.
Amazing.
So, and every month he used to come down and see me, because you couldn't come every day.
It must have been a hard time for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we didn't mind, because the women have the ward, the men have the ward, and we were happy.
Yeah.
But the only thing, I wasn't allowed to walk.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
confined to bed. I spent 7 months in hospital,
Convalescing.
and then I came back to Blake's Road. And then so the council decided to buy the area to build new houses. And that's how they offer me Bushy Hill Road. I got a 3-bedroom house in Bushy Hill Road. But it was an A and a B, and I was on top. And after I had the 3rd, when I came here, I came with the 3 children. Donna was only months old. My husband, when he left, I was expecting. So he didn't see the last child until I arrived at Liverpool.
Gosh, okay.
So they put me in Bushy Hill Road. And then after I had James, the 4th child, they moved me. In those days, they said the girls and the boys should be separated. So they moved me. They asked me where I want to go. In those days, the town hall used to deal with everything in housing. Everything used to be dealt
On Peckham
and-
Road, on Peckham.
yes. And they asked me where I would like to live. I said, well, anywhere, I don't want to go into Bermondsey at all. But Bermondsey had a lot of work. You had Cross and Blackwell and a lot of factories there.
Big free, yeah.
Because all the people from Dulwich and Peckham, they used to go to Bermondsey to work. So they were rebuilding the homes in Blake's Road. And I said I didn't mind going back there because in those days you didn't have central heating. It was a coal fire. Wood fire, had to put the wood and burn to keep the place warm. But our people, we used to use the, what you call it, the lamp.
Lamp.
Yes. So when they said that they have central heating, it did. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So they moved me back.
To
They
Blake's,
moved me
right?
back to Blake. Yes, to
right.
Blake's Road.
Are you still there?
No.
Okay.
They pull it down that bit down
Oh, I
again.
see. Put it down
Again,
again.
I'm
And that is how I come to live in yeah.
So,
That's where you are?
Yeah, that road is just behind me. Where I live.
Oh, well, I see.
so if I could ask you, if you could tell me, what is your favourite part of Southwark? And why?
The favorite what?
Part of Southwark. Where do you like going to best in Southwark and why?
When I used to go all over. I used to go all over. Everywhere we used to go. They had a lot of activity. And I used to take the children out. I used to leave Southwark and go to Lewisham and places like that. Just think the area I used to go down to Buckingham Palace. And number 10, in those days you could just stand outside and number 10 was there. Years after then they put that gate. So you couldn't go in and stand up opposite number 10. I used to go a lot of places in Southwark.
Yeah.
And I like Southwark.
And you love coming to Age UK.
Yes.
What do you like about coming here?
Well, it's friendly. Everyone's friendly. And it gets you out of the house.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's
Thank you,
wonderful.
flat
Thank you so
shoes.
much.
And
That's
it's the
lovely.
same thing in our photograph when she did our fashion
Yeah,
show the other
that's
day.
Amazing. You love to dance.
Oh, yes. She won dancing competition.
Amazing.
I was dancing. This guy was
What was
from...
the dance you were doing there?
Oh, what was it?
It was a slow dance.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he was from...
Is South American.
yes, he's South American like myself. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful time.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.